Despite his role as the originator of rotational presidency in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party may be seriously considering setting aside zoning in the 2023 election and opening up the contest for its presidential ticket to contenders from all 6 geopolitical zones. But this has not gone down well with many socio-cultural groups, such as the Middle Belt Forum, the Pan Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, and Ohanaeze Ndigbo, which have traditionally been supporters of the main opposition party. The agitation is coming against the backdrop of PDP presidential hopefuls, such as former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Senate President Bukola Saraki, who have been pressurizing the party to jettison the zoning arrangement. Now joining us to discuss the clamor for an open contest among presidential aspirants from the 6 geopolitical zones and how the PDP intends to manage the contending forces against it are Chief Bode George, former Deputy National Chairman South of the PDP, and Elder Emmanuel Ogidi, former Vice Chairman South of the PDP. Good morning, Chief. Good morning, Elder Ogidi, and thank you very much for joining us on the morning show.
Always
Good morning, Ruben. How are you? The
Ruben.
doctor himself.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Wow. You're always looking, I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't know.
But to both of you, I would like to start with Chief Bode George. Now, all of a sudden, what we're hearing...
Better, because it's my
that the People's Democratic Party has jettisoned a major part of its culture since return to democracy in 1999, which is the idea of zoning, rotational presidency. In 2015, there wasn't a problem when it was said that power should go back to the northern part of the country. And now in 2023, the party is now saying, oh, the race is open to everybody. Will this not be detrimental to the fortunes of the party, particularly if the APC eventually decides to take a candidate from the south and the PDP finds itself with a presidential candidate from the north? I'll start with Chief Bode George.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. You know, the point is, I don't believe we have jettisoned the rotational presidency. What they had done is to reposition, to give everybody the opportunity to participate. It is very, very uncommon. Now, what if I can back up a little bit, historically, how did we come about zoning? Because if you don't understand why, that was accepted, you wouldn't know the reason why people are playing this kind of a game. The founding fathers sat together when General Abdul Salam was trying to hand over. And they thought, look, let us be serious about our nation. That what had been the major setback in this country, it has been that in the north, the minorities were to be seen and that's it. In the south, the same. So the founding fathers, I think Chibola Ige from the southwest, Papa Alex Ekweme from the southeast, these were people who would not get in the same room and discuss politically. So the G9 met and wanted to find out exactly what had been the major setback in the progress of our nation. They thought, okay, majority will have their way, always. Minorities are to be seen and not heard. So they came up with this brilliant idea that let's divide Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. So you have the 3 in the north, northwest, northeast, and north central. And in the south, you have the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south. Now, with this geopolitical zone, they now sat back and said, look, there are 6 top positions in the land, in the government. The president, vice president, the Senate president, the Speaker of the House, the secretary to the government, and the national chairman of the party. So 6 geopolitical zones, 6 top positions. So no zone, whether you are minority or majority, will go home without something to show to their people. So that sense of commitment was established. But then when you look at it like that, after 8 years, all positions in the south will go to the north. All positions in the north will come to the south. But the mistake they made was that, look, and it is natural. You know you can't find a solution to all problems, especially when it's a developing country. Even developed countries do have problems. But what they found out was that, look, that in future, a situation can happen where you will have another political party that can produce the president. You know, it wasn't in our political equation. So when the APC now produced the president and is from the north, we had never added that to our political equation. So it is necessary. The beauty of PDP is this. I was also shocked when the zoning committee, in fact, this is the first time I'm hearing about the zoning committee. The zoning committee said, oh, we were only allowed to handle the party, and we zoned accordingly. You see, when you look at the 6 positions, top positions, if the presidency comes from the south, vice presidency will come from the north, Senate presidency will come from the south, Speaker will come from the north, Secretary to government will come from the south, National chairman will come from the north, and vice versa. So if you are zoning the national chairmanship, you must consider where should the presidency come from. And that people are now in the south are saying, like you mentioned, the north central, the southeast, the southwest, and the south are saying that, look, President Buhari, yes, he's not from the PDP, but for sure he is from the north. And there will be another situation in the future where somebody else will be a president who comes from the south. Do we put that as a parameter in the political equation? That will now, that's the major problem the PDP will be handling in the next few months ahead of us. But the beauty of it is that I know we will rise above it. Yes, people are angling, you know, it should come to the north, it should be in the south, and, you know, APC has already said, oh, you know, it's going to come from the south. If you remember, at the beginning, the APC said, no, we don't even believe in zoning. So we cannot tell people we don't believe in zoning or we are going to jettison the zoning concept. We will not. What we will do, you know, is because of the situation and because the new parameter that has entered into our own political equation did not consider a scenario where a president can come from another party and can come from either the north or the south. So it will require a lot of discussions, a lot of debate, and a lot of discussion with people. And we will rise above that. Because we are lucky, we still have some of the few people who are the original members, the G9. In fact, the current chairman of our party was a member of the G9. So there are people, resourceful people. We will sit down, we will debate, we will discuss, and that's the only way we can move forward. Once an agreement is made, we will all comply. And the other mistake that was made at the very beginning is the fact that, you know, the concept, the culture, the norm of the party, we didn't put pen to paper to write it down. And what I have noticed is that most times when we get to the 8th year, people start interpreting zoning in a manner where it will suit their ambition. And this is a major, major problem. And I've been proposing, I've started putting my pen to paper that we must write these things down so that no misinterpretation will be allowed in the future. This country is growing. At the initial time, nobody thought that there could be another party that would be as strong as PDP and the president can emerge from that. It was not in our political equation. So it's part of growing, it's part of development, but it is not too confusing, because we will sit down like the other people who started it all started. We will sit, we will discuss, and we will come with a very rational decision that will be acceptable to everybody.
Okay, Emmanuel Ogidi, let's come quickly back to you. What's your own take? Do you think that this will not affect the party in any way? And what has been the reaction from your own part of the party in the South?
No. You heard what Chief Bode George said. That is the correct thing. You heard what Chief Bode George said. That's the correct thing anyway.
Okay. So you have.
So what I want to add is, you okay?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, you see what Bode George said is the correct thing. Chief Bode George, I'm sorry, my daddy. Whether you like it or not, from our name, the People's Democratic Party, that tells you what we're going to do.
Exactly.
We're going to feel the pulse of the people, and our position will reflect their decision. That's what I want to add. That's the truth. Because my earlier interview, I've always told you that PDP was never structured to be opposition. We were structured to rule this country for 50, 60 years. But unfortunately, APC gang up came in and frustrated that position. But you can be sure that we are still consulting. The party will come up with a position and it will be acceptable to Nigerians. That's the truth. It will definitely be acceptable to Nigerians. And Ruben, I know you'll be happy too.
Right, I guess we'll wait and see. So the other issue that's emerging is whether or not your presidential flag bearer for the 2019 general election, Atiku Abubakar, will be contesting again in 2023. There are those arguing for his political sagacity and his experience and, relatability across the country and what have you, all these positives. But there are those who point to the issue of age and what we experienced, especially in the first term of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. What is your take on the viability of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar? I'm going to start with you, Chief George, and then Elder Ogidi.
Yeah, thank you very much. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is eminently qualified, like all the others. The beauty of our party, like my younger brother said, Elder Ogidi, our name reflects the concept and the culture and the norm of the party, People's Democratic Party. The decision will be by the people. Now, and before I go on, I want to thank all members of the current members of the National Assembly in the electoral bill, because they have factored in direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus. Brilliant. Because I thought they were going to expunge those issues from that bill. But having said that, we will at the appropriate time. You see, there is what you call the political equation with so many parameters, and resolving them will mean there are other factors that have never been thought about before, which will come in now. And so it is incumbent that you want to be fair to people. we will allow, the discussions, the party positions, and before the final decision, whether it's going to be from the north or the south, there would have been a lot of consultations, a lot of discussions, a lot of very robust debates. How will the public, the people feel? Is it justifiable if it's from the north? Is it justifiable if it's from the south? And then we will also look at the integrity, the capacity, the age, and the health of the will-be candidate, because all of them are aspirants now. We will look at them so that we don't make a mistake and present somebody who will not be able to do the work. So integrity, the character, and the intelligence, and also the energy from, in other words, the public, the health of the so-called aspirant. All those things will be put to play, and then we will sensitize the Nigerian public itself, because party members are party members. The majority of people are the electorate who will decide who they want as their president. But we will go through this, we will x-ray everybody, we will look at it, putting all the other parameters in the political equation. And I am sure, with our own experience, with the lessons we've learned, the mistakes in the past, which these things are natural. You cannot say you don't make a mistake, you learn from the past. Otherwise, you commit the same mistake in the future. I have no doubt that this party, we will rise above it. In the next maximum 6 months from now, we will rise above it and come out with a position that would be acceptable to this rainbow country that we call Nigeria. Again, you see, when we keep angling for who is going to be president, the constitution we are running is not working. You see, everybody is now sitting. They want to produce a president. The center is too strong. We need to devolve powers to the states so that the center, people will not start rushing. Everybody wants to be president. Let us empower the states so that the impact on the people in the states will be optimum. This issue of everybody is running to Abuja, all the resources are being repackaged to Abuja, and then Abuja now will start cutting the cake according to certain factors. No, we borrowed the American system. Let us go and take the report of the 2014 Constitutional Conference, and let's look at it and implement it. It will reduce the pressure. The way we are going is as if there is a terrible fixation in the system. It's not working.
Thank you, sir. That's the unescapable bottom line, the kind of foundation we're trying to build on. But the question to you, sir, Elder Ogidi, the viability of another Atiku Abubakar presidency as the pros and cons are being hashed out in the public domain.
I don't have a right to comment on the individual aspiration. That's how it is. I don't have a right. Everybody, but the kind of president we want is the president that understands the Nigerian problem, that can lead Nigeria to where we are supposed to be. The Nigeria with capacity. I cannot discuss age. Just like people die young, people die old. Some people, their knowledge increases as they get old. While some are retrogressing, others are increasing. So I'm not going to talk. But the thing is, we have the capacity in PDP. And what should be bothering us now is, what is the template for your president? Is it age alone? What about the unity of Nigeria? What about the experience? Are you going to throw all of these things away? So let everybody come out Let me draw the experience from when I was PDP chairman in Delta. I had 31 aspirants cut across the state. We eventually, only one person emerged, and we all worked as a team. So it's not the number, it's not, but like what Chief Bode George said, that is the position of the party. We never expected we would get to this stage. But now that we're in this stage, we should try and make sure we put it down on paper now so there will be no argument tomorrow. In their wisdom, they throw it open. But the convention will decide. And after the decision of the convention, then we have to market our candidate to Nigeria. So we cannot at this stage stop any person's aspiration. But I thought we were going to ask about the women. Nobody's coming out now. What's happening?
Well,
or you don't think we have reached the stage of having a
we are far beyond the stage of having a female president. I was actually going to raise the issue of the women in my question about the Ekiti primaries, but I think I'll hand over to Dr. Abati now. I'll get back to you on the women. That was coming when I talk about Ekiti.
Okay. Edo Ogidi, let me piggyback on the question that Tunu asked earlier on. I hope Chief George will also comment on this. Already in the PDP, we have quite a number of persons who have stepped forward to say they are interested, including former Senate President, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator Ayim Pius Ayim, Governor of Sokoto State's name has been mentioned, former Speaker, now Governor Aminu Tambuwa. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is said to still be interested. Former Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki is also interested. The name of the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, has also been mentioned. And, quite a number of people out there, already indicating interest. Now, out of this list that we have for now within the party, if you were to do a short list of, say, 2, who and who will you pick? And that question, I'll start with you, Edo Ogidi, and then we take Chief Bode George. Or is it that nobody has emerged yet that you consider, worthy of consideration, serious consideration?
No. It's too early. They're still doing consultation. It's too early to close the door. Everybody's doing consultation. Now, nobody's an aspirant yet.
No, I'm not saying you
Let me correct an impression. They are all consulting. Until they go and until we come up with the guidelines. And then they buy a fund. That's why you say the aspirants. They're all consulting.
You don't consider any one of them?
So you can't choose from those consulting. No, you can't choose from those consulting. They're all consulting now.
After they've said they are interested.
They're all consulting now. Exactly. So you don't expect to choose from those just consulting. It's when the guideline comes out, they pick the form that you can see the aspirants. Yes.
Well, Chief Bode George, do you agree with Edo Ogidi in this regard?
Oh, yeah. That's the custom and the culture of our party. Before you throw in your hat, you would have made your inquiries in all the 6 geopolitical zones. Like I said, that we have a political equation. And you yourself with your team, that's the whoever has all these people you have mentioned. To me, they are eminently qualified to run, but they need to go around, consult, and see whether they will fit into the political equation of this country, and then being accepted by the party. We have a procedure in PDP. Like I said, the national chairman cannot come from the same zone where the presidency will come from. If you remember, the national chairman, when he was elected, he said, in case the presidency comes from the north, all right, that he will resign. Because automatically it means we have to go back to another convention that we will now rezone all those parties positions now. The management of the party, the National Working Committee, will have to be rezoned so that you can balance the equation between the North and the South. Still a long way, and it is not a problem for the party. The people who are consulting are also looking at this same political equation. Where would they fit in? Would they be able to emerge, to be accepted by the party and the country? What will be the solution? So it's a long haul. There is no shortcut to it. Because if we want a good man in this country to lead Nigeria, we must do an in-depth analysis. We must extract the personality, the character of the person coming. Would he be accepted by the people? What would be his record as a manager of a system? So, too many things. Give us till about July this year, things will start to get much clearer. Right now, it's still very woozy, and you don't even know. I got so many text messages about so many other my known friends from the Southeast who want to come and pay a visit in Lagos because it's consultation. And these kind of discussions we will hold with them, and there will be a lot of questions and answers and all that before we get to the real game.
But Chief, okay, let me phrase the question like this, and also for you, Edo Ogidi. Will you be comfortable with a Northerner succeeding, President Buhari after 8 years of power going to the North? Will you be comfortable with that?
Now, that my position is personal. My position is personal. If like I told you earlier on, the party would have discussed, there will be a meeting of many minds, there will be a lot of debates, robust debates, discussions, and remember, I know you are a doctor of letters, but I'm an engineer. I look at things from the political equation, like you have a straight line equation or a quadratic equation. If you want to solve that problem and find a solution, all the other parameters must be considered. That's what I'm saying. We will discuss them. I don't want to start jumping from here. As an elder of the party, we must follow the norm. We must follow the culture. We must follow the dictates of the discussion. We may even go to the extent of saying, okay, if the positions are like this, and somebody makes a midway suggested solution, are we going to jettison it? No. We will have a mid-course. And at the end of it, whichever decision is made by the party, we will follow.
Right. 2023 is a bit further down the road. Let's look at June, which is just around the corner. The Ekiti elections, Elder Ogidi, I was going to mention this before. I have two questions about that. You have a PDP aspirant, Segun Oni, lambasting the process from which Honorable Bisi Kolawole emerged, and he's been heavily critical of everybody, from the chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, to Governor Udom Emmanuel, who conducted the primaries and said that basically it was not a fair process. I'd like your comments on that and what that does to PDP's prospects going forward. Can PDP then beat the incumbent ruling party in Ekiti State if you have this kind of division within the party? That's the first question about Ekiti. The second question about the Ekiti process was that there were 9 women who were interested. There were 9 female aspirants out of 17. So it's clearly not a lack of interest from women. What is PDP actually doing to encourage women beyond merely discounting nomination forms? We can all see that that does not cut it. We are yet to elect a female governor of Nigeria. Dame Virginia Etiaba, who made history as the first female governor in Nigeria, wasn't elected. So that's for Elder Ogidi first.
Well, you see, I work strictly on the guideline of the party. And the guideline has never excluded women. And every committee that goes to conduct primaries always follow the guideline. That's the truth. The committee went, followed the guideline. They decided, they did the primaries. They've gone to the appeal, I'm told the appeal upheld the election. And then the NWC will decide on it. And after that, it's brought to NEC. And NEC will accept it, and that's it. You see, it's a procedure. People will definitely have one thing or the other to say. I've also seen in the media work where one of the aspirants congratulated the winner, and then he said he was ready to work with him. It's always like that in the elections. I agree with you, so many people contested. Yes, Shagoni, I was even surprised that he was able to garner such support at such time, you know. You see, in PDP, when you come back, we don't just allow you to sit at the back. We also allow you to come to the front if you have what it takes. Shogoni, short space of time, came up with 300 votes. Wow, he's done well. You see, a man like that, you can't joke with him. You need him to win an election. So I will plead with the NWC to ensure that we rally around all those who lost in these primaries to work together as a team. There's no primary, there's no election that is perfect as long as it's conducted by man. But once it is reasonably well conducted, it should be accepted. To me, I think it was reasonably done. Udom Emmanuel is not, it's a name, it's also a brand, so he had done well, and then we should accept it. For the women, yes, the Senator originally withdrew from the race. She has a reason. She said it there that day. Of course, people share that sentiment. But she is a member of the party. I know that she walk away does not mean to say she walk against the party. She's not that type of person. It's unfortunate. But I like us to know, I like us to say at this stage that we don't run PDP on the page of newspaper or even on television like this. We have our guidelines. That's when my guy is talking, we talk about the party constitution and the guideline. Anything outside those two, I have a problem. So for us, we're looking forward to a good campaign, looking forward to the election, and pray God Almighty to give us victory in Ekiti.
Well, thank you, Elder.
Does that answer it, Tundo?
Thank you, sir. It does.
Yes.
It does. Chief George, do you share Elder Ogidi's optimism about PDP's prospects in spite of these tensions that have been playing out?
I do share his, I accept what he stated because it's a fact. But you see, it's also a lesson. And as I know the custom of this party, there will be a post-mortem analysis at the National Working Committee. Fortunately, we have a personality with a high-pitched integrity who is now the chairman of the party. We shouldn't just sweep it under the carpet. We must find out what are the observations of the people who lost. Like Sheguni, there are certain informations and certain things he said. We must examine that because a divided house is a defeated house. And it's not only happening in our party. You saw what happened in the APC. I mean, already some strong members are already, dissatisfied. They are also complaining and all that. But we have a system in our party where we can massage the egos, but we must listen to them. I want to plead with Sheguni because I know him. He has a high-level integrity. He has a high-pitch character. He's a decent, respectable, and responsible person. So I will plead that rather than going into the public domain and complaining, he should go in and request to present his case before the National Working Committee. Nobody will throw him out of their office rather than going into the public domain. In fact, Senator Lujimi, talking about the woman involvement in politics, Our party has a special regard for women, but the final decision, you know, is for the people. If you want to win, of course, you see, she's a senator. She wasn't appointed. She was elected. She must have beaten some other men there. So the same thing, you know, that when it comes to a certain bridge, the last bridge, it is for you to make yourself presentable, to plead and convince the people that you will be able to do the job much better than the man who is contesting against you. We don't discriminate against women, you know. They don't even pay for the forms of contest. And, you know, for me, it's a lesson because Oshu also is coming up. And I haven't read the comments of Shegun Oni, but you should go and see the members of the National Working Committee because, you know, they came in at a time when the former managers were leaving. Maybe they created this falsehood and this poor management of the process, you know, because our party has a system. And if they manipulate the initial, the emergence of members of the world, who are going to be delegates to the convention, I mean to the Congress, the primaries rather, then you didn't try to correct that. Of course, if you garbage in, garbage out. So if that is the case, they should, because they were the managers of the party at that level were elected before this group who are managers now at the National Working Committee emerged. So I believe there is a need for them, for the party managers now, to look very critically into the emergence of these ward members, because from every ward, I don't remember how many wards they have in Ekiti, but like Lagos, we have 245 wards. If you multiply that by 8 members coming from each ward, you see the kind of number you have. And if it has been mismanaged, of course, the end product will be rubbish. So there is need for us to take a costly look. And, you know, Shegun cannot, he had been a governor before, he's highly respectable, responsible gentleman. Even Mrs. Olujimi and all the others, they should meet with them, learn from the mistakes that were made in the past, and then we correct them as we go. And then plead with all the others to work for the success of the party.
Okay, Chief, very quickly, recently there was an event at the Afar Balewa Square with the leader of the Lagos for Lagos movement and his supporters joining the PDP. And at the end of that, the papers reported that Mr. Olajide Adediran, popularly known as Jandor, has been endorsed by the leadership of the party as the next standard bearer, flag bearer of the party in the gubernatorial election in Lagos State. Is this true? And what is this Lagos for Lagos movement all about, being adopted by the PDP in Lagos? And Edo Ogidi, I would like to ask you about the crisis in Akwa Ibom State, where we're told that the governor has selected someone that is described as God's anointed successor to the governor. Is that also part of the norm, the culture, to use Chief Bode George's expression within the party?
No.
Let me start with Chief Bode George.
Thank you very much. You know, we, like you said, I am so proud being a member of this party. I worked for 10 years at the national headquarters of the party. 10 years. One as the national vice chairman Southwest, then deputy national chairman South, and then the only deputy national chairman. For 10 years I was there. So it gladdens my heart when I talk about this party. We have a norm. We have a culture. You know, we don't have any godfather sitting anywhere. Remember the name of the party, People's Democratic Party. People decide. You know, in politics, anybody can go to the media and start to throw tantrums and start to say all kinds of things. We are not like Afobaje, the man who called himself kingmaker. We don't do that. The people will decide. So, like my brother Ogidi said, there will be a procedure after a NEC meeting. And NEC is the highest body before the National Convention. Whatever is decided there becomes the law. And then you now go back and say, okay, what will be the procedure? Nobody officially, even unofficially, has said that Jandor had been endorsed. We don't do that in this party. And in the speech that day when he joined us, we said it. There will be others. In fact, there were 2 or 3 others who came to the rally too, with their banners and all that, who are also thinking of contesting. It's wide open, you know, and our party is like a police station. Anybody can come in and join and all that. But when you join, you don't say, oh, you have been anointed or you have been sanctioned or whatever. We don't do such nonsense. I want to put that into record. We don't do it. The day for the primaries will be announced. The procedure that we will take will be announced. Even NEC has not even met to decide on the days of primaries for our own governorship aspirants. Every aspirant can come out, and then they will canvass. They would meet with people. They will discuss. They will campaign all over, and the people will decide. I'm not even sure which of the 3 areas we would be selecting the party. You remember that the primaries now is in the law, but I hope the president will quickly sign that into law. Direct primaries, indirect primaries, and consensus. So those 3 are acceptable now by law if Oga signs it. So anybody talking about Jandor had been endorsed by some leadership, I don't know which leader, maybe some fellow that is imaginary. We don't do that. There is no kingmaker here. We are all, you know, the people will decide, and you will see that day who will win. But there are certain things we must put in place for justice, for fairness, and for equity. The people who have emerged at the world level, the people who will emerge as at the local government level, are going to be delegates to the governorship primaries. So we must be extremely very careful. And the mistakes of the past, you know, the current managers will revisit and make sure that there is a lot of correctness as we move forward. The other question you asked was
Lagos for Lagos
if you
movement.
can just remind me.
Lagos for Lagos.
Oh, Lagos, you know what happens? In our party also, it is illegal for anybody to have a group. You can be sanctioned. But when it comes to election, you are allowed to have your campaign team who will now be your group, who will help you, who will assist you in meeting people, in campaigning and making arrangements, the logistics and all that. But once we finish that primaries, that's it. They must dissolve themselves into the party. There is no half party here, half party there. If you are contesting during these kind of elections that are coming, you are allowed to have a group. But once you have finished the elections, everybody will dissolve into the party. We don't have this grouping, and it's not accepted, and it's not accepted, and it's not acceptable in our party.
Okay, Edo, I'll give you quickly. The anointed candidate, so-called, in Akwa Ibom State, which is a major source of conflict in that branch of the PDP.
Well, I'm not aware of that. But one thing you should know is that the governor has a say, just like any other person in the state. The governor, the way I see him, the way I know him, is pragmatic and he believes in people. So I don't know where that one's coming from. But if he wants to endorse somebody, I know how you go about it. Because he has his caucus. He will go to his caucus, he will sell the person. But again, that person will also go through the primaries. So that's how it is done. No governor will just pick up somebody and say, that's your candidate. No. We have a procedure in the party, and he knows it. Yes, I'll give you a scenario. I was in Saple a few days ago. I went to visit a friend of mine, and I saw a large group in his compound. I didn't come down because I know if I had gone in, they would have said I've endorsed somebody. So this period, we're all very careful how we move around and what we say. So I'm also conscious of what I'm saying here. But I do know the governor. Yes, he may have it's natural for him to have somebody favorite as a favorite. But he knows the procedure. He will have to pass that person through the process of the party. And if the person emerges, fine. Because as a governor, yes, he should have the right to discuss or to bring somebody as a successor. But it has to go through the guideline of the party. That's why it is supposed to be democratic. But that's the beauty of it. So I don't see it shouldn't cause any agitation whatsoever.
Well, thank you very much, Edo Ogidi, and thank you very much, Chief Bode George, for joining us on the morning show.